Hello.
Yes. Hello. Oh no, that's a bit too zoomed in. The top of my head's cut off. There we go. That's better. How are you?
Oh my gosh. I'm having one of those days where it's like I think this thing should be working. Right? I'm working with my code and this project works just fine the way it is, but I can make it better.
Oh, that like endless tweaking. Code is never finished, is it? It's never finished.
Right? Like this works nice for everybody except me. And I'm gonna make it better. Like, oh, okay.
Yes. It's one of those things where you just like, oh, I'm just going to refactor this and I'm just going to do that. And so I mean, I was sort of getting ready and I was feeding the dogs and I saw you put TypeScript in.
Yeah.
And then when I came back, you're like ripping it out. I'm like, wait, what happened?
Yes.
What happened with the TypeScript?
So TypeScript compiling inside the Blazor project was looking for all these things that it wanted to connect into that I didn't have. So
how odd.
I just wanted the JavaScript. Here's the base JavaScript that came from the other project. And just copy it in. Just make this thing work. I don't care. I don't need an entire TypeScript build and mechanism around it to do. Here it is. Just turn that into JavaScript so I can put it on a page. Done. And it wouldn't do it for me. So
it's because it was JavaScript and it doesn't like us.
It doesn't. What? No wardrobe change.
Yeah, we were debating whether you were going to be in a squirrel costume.
No.
As the squirrel, or if you were going to be in your glittery blazer.
That's hanging up in the place. Oh, there goes the dog now. That's hanging up in the closet. I do have the velvet blazer is over here. I can grab that.
I haven't seen the velvet blazer.
Right.
Go on, go.
All right.
Let's see. Java Grant. No, this is an hour and a half later for .NET in the wild today. So normally we are at 4:30 GMT, which is 8:30 Pacific. And there's no puppy rain on this channel because we're in StreamYard to make my life easier and more of the life of my guests, really. And live coding. One does not simply adopt TypeScript. I haven't done TypeScript since 2017, and I had to write all these typings, and it was horrible. I just went. There's a standing joke that I do any. Fritz, do I do any?
Any.
Look at you.
That's
at you.
Right.
It's spangly.
It's not spangly. It's just fancy.
It's fancy. Is it like stroking a little kitty cat?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look, Thindle says it's pretty. I think it's pretty.
The Dunder Mifflin hat just completes the look.
Completely. I'd be stealing that jacket, if we were together. Oh, you're swapping. Okay, you're swapping.
There, that completes the look.
One. Right. And did Fierce Kittens do that one for you?
She did.
Did she do that one?
She made the initial one. I've got a collection of them that were made by Imperial Girl that I'm waiting for the right event to send them out on. Coding Bandit did borrow the Blazing Blazer once. Yes, the glitter. Mm-hmm. So sequins, yes. Such a good thing.
Why?
No squirrel outfit. I'm not.
We have a squawking dog, though. I
Hello.
don't know what its problem is.
It needs the attention, the global attention that only this stream can provide.
Well, people were complaining that there were no falling puppy heads on this channel. Here's a falling puppy head. We can make that fit.
Oh my god. Oh no.
I don't know why she's upset. I think there's people outside and
it's the Amazon delivery person.
Oh,
run!
Goodness. Or next door like to get their shopping delivered and things.
Okay.
And they like to bang doors. And then there's people who like to sit in their cars for hours with the engine running, even though they live here. And I don't get it. I don't get it. So, Jeff, I was going to ask you something, and then it went clear out of my head. It went right out. This is it. This is what happens when Laylas do streams later. I mean, no. You've done 4.5 hours now. So do you think? Yeah, I was watching. Yeah. Not all of it. Not all of it. So tell me, is Clip Talk nearly done?
No. Never. Is Twitter done? Is Facebook done? No. Is it launched? Is it running? It's a public beta. There's some features that, quite frankly, are broken. Comment system is broken, but nobody comments. So not a rush to go and answer. Are there new features we can add to improve the way it behaves? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We want to build a recommendation engine. We want to build and scale out notifications. We added a notification component last time so that from various places where you interact with the application, we can start popping notification messages that'll pop down like toast.
Okay.
If toast notifications come down from the top, are they still toast?
I would call them toast.
Okay.
I still think that any little thing that floats around anywhere is toast.
Disappears. Okay.
Yeah,
so
I'd call that toast.
It's a toast notification, but I need to start wiring it up to the various things that might be happening on the site that you might be interested in. So, right, things like, hey, one of your favorite streamers just had 2 or 3 clips arrive on the website, and you're still here navigating around. Let me notify you that. Or you're a streamer. Hey, somebody liked your clip over here. Let me put a toast notification there so you can click through and see which clip they liked, et cetera, et cetera. Things like that. When comments get reactivated and folks are interacting with those, hey, Layla replied to your comment on this clip, or hey, there was a comment on your clip over here. Those types of interactions. That's got to be built. That whole subsystem is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to really start to create that interactivity that folks want. But I want to make the discoverability, the kind of sorting and shuffling of clips to be something that's more personalized. That's going to take a little bit of work to finish off. So it takes time. And gosh, when I told this story about the video of my parents visiting the David Letterman chat show.
I missed that story then.
So the point of this is Twitch folks don't appreciate, Twitch employees don't fully appreciate how we, the community, views clips, how we interact with clips. And the example that the allegory that I show with regard to that is way back in the 90s, my parents went to go see David Letterman, right? David Letterman hosts a chat show in New York City. So my parents loved that show for years and years. He moved and was at a theater downtown on Broadway. They went up to go see him. It was a fantastic trip for them. They spent a couple days in New York City, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But while they're there, Letterman was running a gag on his show. He was running a thing where he would say, hey, look who's out there in the audience. Sitting in the audience is superstar blah, blah, blah person. And it turned out it was a guest from like 2 or 3 shows ago. And he was playing a trick on the audience because the audience goes, oh, where? Gosh, Layla's in the audience. Where? And they're not actually in the audience, but the camera pans and shows, here's a clip of Layla sitting in the audience from a week or 2 ago when Layla was actually on the show. Yeah. So when my parents were there, Robin Williams was was the first guest, and they had Robin come and sit in the audience right next to them. And Dave pulled that same gag. Hey, look who's in the audience, Robin, our friend Robin Williams. And they recorded that during one of the commercial breaks, right? So here Robin Williams stands up and waves and does this thing, but my parents are sitting right next to Robin Williams on national TV. They were ecstatic about this. When they came home, the next 2 weeks, they're recording every one of his shows on the old VHS,
Yeah.
VCR. And when that show finally came up where Dave says, "Hey, there's Robin in the audience," my parents had a tape of that 30 seconds, not even, maybe even 10, 15 seconds, when Robin Williams stands up and waves, and there's mom and dad sitting next to him.
Going.
That exactly.
Yeah.
That VHS tape made it around the house, made it through moves, stayed around for 20 some years. It was that important to them because in the 90s, right, that was, hey, look, our brush with fame.
Yeah.
If that were done today, right, you would have captured it on your phone, or it would have been on a YouTube, and you would have grabbed that 15, 30 seconds and copied it off somewhere, and you might have put it on a digital frame or someplace where you can share it with friends, share it on Facebook or whatever, but they didn't have that. So that VHS tape was precious to them. That's what Twitch clips are to us. It's that precious, once in a lifetime, maybe, moment that happened that you want to remember. And how do you remember that? That's where Clip Talk comes in.
Yeah.
And that's why it's never going to be done.
Well, I think I know from our conversations that it is a passion project, but it's more than that. And did you just cross like a milestone as well?
I did. Oh my gosh.
Tell us about this milestone.
I say I did, but it's not me. It's the application, because there's a point when you're building an app like this that it kind of takes off, and on its own, the folks that are using the application, that are using the website, they start investing time and collaborating. So it's not so much me, but the application and the folks on the application crossed more than 8 million clips indexed. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is
crazy.
We're a little over a year, maybe 14 months into the life of the application, but 8 million. We're now at 8.2 million clips indexed on the website. And I'm not actually storing all of that video. That's one of the next questions folks ask me is, oh my gosh, how much space does all that video take up? We don't store all the video. We store pointers to the video, but it does take up about 45, 46 gigabytes of database space. Yeah. That's a little bit of space.
And you're using Raven still, is that right?
Yes. We're using Ravendb, hosted in the cloud, hosted on Microsoft Azure, and I have 3 nodes in the Ravendb cluster, 3 database nodes collaborating so that we always have uptime, and providing search and indexing and managing all that content. It's pretty exciting to see that database grow and support all these folks that have great content out there that we're sharing.
It is pretty amazing. I mean, what I can't quite believe is how much you've done yourself. Now, I know you have had help. I know you have. Yeah. But the vast majority you have done yourself. Yeah. And how do you think tools like Blazor have helped you create this app the way it is? Do you think you could have done this without Blazor? Would you have done some other kind of front end, or would you have done it with MVC or something like that?
Sure.
Do you think the technology helped you get to where you are?
Definitely. Blazor was a choice among many that I could have picked out, right? I could have absolutely gone with React or Angular. React probably would have been a good one. Vue, of course, ASP.NET MVC. Take your pick on web front-end technologies. I could have chosen many different options. By choosing Blazor, I hit a couple of personal goals as well. I wanted to learn more about Blazor. I wanted to kind of push on the limits of it, and I wanted to show it off. When I got into building Clip Talk, there was no canonical example that folks could point to and say, wow, that's Blazor? That's something that's doing something kind of impressive. And Clip Talk is a little bit of that demo that I can point to and say, yeah, I'm managing 50 gig of data with a Blazor application that you can search through, interact with, and it's video data that you're interacting with. Now, it's kind of a lie that it's video data, right? Because I'm just storing pointers to it.
Yeah.
But I grab that pointer and I put a video player on screen, and I'm managing images and pushing all that stuff around. The bigger thing that it's doing, right, the social media type of interactions, yeah, I could have done that with React. Sure. It would have been a learning experience for me to get in and learn that technology. But for in part my job, for in part wanting to continue supporting .NET and doing cool new .NET things, it just made sense to do Blazor for me. And that means it's a little bit over-engineered. It's a little bit bigger in the website than it probably needs to be. But I go by the non-technical person test, right? The Muggle test.
Yeah.
If you show this to your non-technical friend, they're not going to know the difference. They're going to look at it and say, "Oh, cool. There's a couple pages that are a little bit slow, and that's things that are interacting with the database that we can improve." But so what? They don't know the difference. That's all that matters. So
have you tried things like ahead of time compilation? Does that help?
I haven't tried it with this. That's a great question. I haven't tried it with this. And my fear is that because I know that ahead of time compilation increases the size of the download.
Almost doubles.
Yeah.
From what I've investigated with it. And it literally almost doubles it.
I'm already looking at about 2 meg of Blazor content that's downloaded. Do I really want to push that out into 4?
Yeah, it's a big problem, isn't it?
It is, and I'm not interested in that yet. However, on the other side, when we do consider going with Blazor running inside of .NET MAUI, absolutely, I want to ahead of time compile that. I don't care that it's 4 meg instead of 2. When you download it from the iOS or Android store, I don't care. So what?
What's it matter? Yeah.
Exactly. It's installed, running locally on your machine, and you're happy with it. That being said, though, in exploring how .NET MAUI works and how the video player that I use for ClipTalk works, I can't use .NET MAUI for Blazor. With Blazor, there's a CORS issue, a cross-origin resource sharing, where it will block the hosting in a MAUI app. Okay, so
CORS.
Yes.
It's a very dirty word, Fritz.
It's something that I think is underestimated in its value, because for a lot of us, we just start trying to query and, hey, load data from that site over there. And that site owner is protecting exactly that type of screen scraping that we're trying to do. So I understand and I appreciate the importance of it. That being said, it's easy to fake it out.
It's really, I tell you, I think I've tweeted about this on several occasions at how frustrating CORS issues are. Yeah. And I mean, they're frustrating because nothing worth doing is easy really in development, is it? I mean, everything you come to do with security and identity and optimization is always harder than the baseline sort of just coding.
I might go so far as to say anything that's valuable in software development is more difficult than just the basics, right?
Yeah.
And when I'm realizing I'm still wearing my coding glasses. Folks can't see the eyes.
Those bright blue eyes.
Anyways, when I think about just putting a list of clips on a page, big deal, right? Who cares? Anybody can do a for loop and say, oh, show me all the Ninja clips. So what? But downloading them, categorizing them, getting transcripts for them, and tracking the number of views on them and providing the ability to put likes on them and recommendations on it, that's value add. That's hard.
Yeah.
And it takes time to build these things.
And luckily, you seem to be having a lot of time to do it. You enjoy it. I mean, I get those notifications on a Sunday and I think, that Fritz.
Where
Boxing Day, I saw you there.
yeah. Where I've really been able to take advantage of how I build and work on it is in I use it to do several things. I use it to learn new Blazor features. Hey, there's a new feature. Let's go try this out. JSON generated serialization. Fantastic. Let's go try it. The page title features. Great. Let's go try it.
Yep.
Speed enhancements. Sure. Let's throw this big, ugly application at it and try it out. So I learn those new features. I need to do a better job of getting around to other features in there, but we'll get there. But it also helps me figure out, here's some of the rough edges. So when it does come time to give that training material, to teach an in-person session, I've been through it enough times in the extreme scenario that I can do it now almost blindfolded, because I'm doing it every day on stream, right? I'm practicing, rehearsing, and that makes me a better presenter. And I think it also means for us as folks that are live streaming and talking to you out there in the chat room, it means that we learn how to connect with those folks better, because we hear, hey, that's a rough point for me. I don't understand that thing. Can you explain that better? And I either file that away or I'll write something up that says, here's something to make sure you touch on for the presentation.
Yeah, definitely. I think Thindle says kind of dog feeding. Dog feeding is the idea of using the things that you make, but for your own presentations. I must say that live coding on Twitch has made me far less anxious when I speak at conferences.
Awesome.
It's made me a much more fluent speaker. It's made my ability to deal with the crap hitting the fan, so to speak, so much better, because everything I touch on stream just blows up in my face and breaks. I am like the queen of doxing, the queen of breaking things. I'm all those things. And you know, that's how Thindle and I became, well, not how, but Thindle's building the anti-dox thing, and I'm like, no, I need to stay friendly with Thindle because I need this extension. So, you know, everything just works fine when I'm live.
Right.
Yeah, maybe no.
We do a good job of hiding these things. The number of backups of things that I've got something else that can run in that place.
Or being able to pivot. Oh, this isn't quite what I wanted to do. Oh my God, I have no idea how to do this. Let's go and look at this other thing that we wanted to go look at. Yeah.
And gosh, I even pivoted. Somebody asked me, you know, hey, that virtualized component, what do you mean it isn't working right? I opened Excel and highlighted cells to show a demo to explain what I meant. Like, talk about building graphics on the fly with this. Really skills that are hard to come by. Oh, okay.
So we've got a question. Yeah. So
I don't know who this person is. Who is this person? Can you help me out with that?
I don't know this person. They're just always around. So Silicon Orchid has asked, have you encountered any bottlenecks with ClipTalk or any performance issues that made you sit up and pay attention? Or has the intentions of scalability all played nicely?
And I'm going to call back to what I ran into today around virtualization component. And you folks out there, you know what I mean by the virtualization component.
Yep.
That infinite scrolling thing that you see on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, where, right, you're just scrolling through a list of tweets and it just keeps on going and it never ends. I got to the end once. No, I can't back
No, that I would have called you on that, Fritz.
But the problem with the component and the bottleneck that I'm running into is the component loads, let's say 10 data points, right? And presents those first 10. Well, you want it to load the next 10, the next page, and glue it onto the bottom of that infinitely scrolling list as soon as you get, so that when you get to item number 11, it's already there.
Yeah.
And then when you get to item number 20 and you're about to scroll to item 21, well, it already loaded and welded those on, kind of glued them onto the bottom. So the bottleneck I'm running into is, well, it takes about a quarter of a second for the clips to load from the database and be provided. And then it takes about another second for all the images and things to load for those in the scrolling list. Well, that's about a second and a half total. And if it waits till I get to item number 10 to load 11 through 20, the next page, I'm showing you there's nothing there. So this is a bottleneck where I actually want to start loading when you get to item number 7, so that while you're looking at 8, 9, and 10, I've already loaded the next page and glued it onto the bottom. Exactly. I want that seamless experience. And what we're finding is that there's this feature called overscan count, where it's supposed to be, well, here's that overflow number that when you get down into that last 3, 4, or 5, load the next block, and it's not doing that. It waits till it gets to the very end. So I've hit that. It's not a performance bottleneck, but to Silicon Orchid, to your question, it's a visual bottleneck where it looks like it looks like a jump happens because you get to that 10th item, and as you're trying to scroll the 11th on, it jumps because it finally finished loading the data and painting it on the screen. So my choice is either make that load time 0 or fake it out by moving the load operation.
So it's a perceived performance issue, really, isn't it?
You got it.
How did you solve it? Did you move the loading?
I haven't solved it. So that's what we got to work on. Is I want to move that loading. I want to move that load operation from the end of the page to somewhere about 75% through the page, so that it can do that load and that perceived bottleneck goes away. Right. One of those things that I learned from our friend Richard Campbell around web performance years and years ago, because we're old, is that web performance is something that users perceive, and there's all kinds of ways to hide that performance.
Oh, yes.
Caching, moving load times, preloading things, and you can hide performance issues by just moving things around to where folks don't see it. Browsers do that by preloading things that you link. Okay, right? If you put a link into another website, mobile browsers will navigate to and preload the HTML for that, so it loads quicker when you click that link. Oh no.
Which one are you knowing about? The day they added the feature to Reddit, that one?
No, but no, I was looking at Coding Bandits mentioned there.
Oh, coming down. Oh. I'm just going to call it right up on stream here. You know, Richard's on in a few weeks. I'll make sure that this is clipped. And
I don't know anywhere where you could put that clip so that you can remember. I don't know
anywhere. Where would anyone put that clip? I mean, so we could definitely just remember that.
Just bring that back later.
Yeah. And I will. I'll just let that be at the start of the stream. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, I see how this is. This channel isn't indexed yet. I'm going to fix that right now.
Oh, okay. This channel is, although not new, we've only just really embraced trying to do stuff with it.
That's okay.
We've got so many shows coming out on this now, so it'll be fun to have it on there. So good indexing that.
Let more folks find that.
So let me try and catch up I've changed my camera, so everything's a little bit like I've changed my whole setup for it. So my monitors aren't exactly where I like them. So I'm like, I don't know where I'm supposed to look. So everybody just don't mind me if I'm like down here and over here, and I'm losing track of everything. Oh, I see. Yes, this is what you were working on 35 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yes, when you were like, am I raiding now? No, you can't raid now, Fritz. You can't raid now. Behind the scenes,
it's not time yet.
It's not time yet. It's not time.
There we go. Yep, there's some clips loaded up on Clip
there
Talk
we go. So establish biggies like LinkedIn fake it with things like generic images that sort of look like a real record. I quite like that. There's quite a few sites that when they load, they have just gray boxes, almost like a wireframe. And I actually really prefer that to nothing. I feel like something's happening. Those images are going to pop in. So I think it's quite interesting, this perceived performance. I've been doing some research actually on Monday on this perceived performance. So I'm quite familiar with the virtualize thing now, and the pre-rendering, and all these different ways that you can do like more improved perceived performance. And Thendel says, if you've ever seen the talk about the original iPhone, they added a loading animation instead of having a static one, and everyone stopped complaining about lag. How interesting. And that's like ubiquitous now, to have a spinner or something like that. Is this an example of clipping things forever? Yes. This is why Jeff has built Clip Talk, so we can clip Jeff calling Richard Campbell old forevermore. Forevermore.
No,
that's it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, of course not. Of course not.
Here, let's even turn on the transcripts for this channel, so we'll get that flowing through. That's not something that is I have a switch out there for, but I can add and then generate some. It goes here.
Awesome. President Not Sure says they sometimes call that faking it a skeleton today. I learned. I didn't know that. Can Clip Talk blacklist channels or clips?
What do you mean by blacklist? I don't like to use color-based terms like that. Are you talking about having like muted channels that you don't want to see? So you personally, as a user who's visiting the website, you can click through to a channel and say mute this, and it won't show up in any of your typical views that you want. Oh, you want to specifically go after a clip and say don't show that clip? No, you can't do that.
What about, I guess, if I were as the streamer, I can go in and delete the clip.
Yes.
And then that would take it out.
So Clip Talk is a layer on top of Twitch. So it abides by all the rules of Twitch clips. So if you remove a clip from Twitch, or Twitch removes a clip from Twitch, it disappears from Clip Talk also.
And then it never happened. If it's not on Clip Talk, it never happened.
Well, I like the way you're saying that. I do. I don't have storage yet for the billions of clips that's going to be generated, but if somebody will help pay for that, maybe I will someday.
All the cogs are turning now.
Oh, don't. Oh, you're going to hurt me.
How long have you been streaming now, Jeff?
It was November 2017 I started. So we are in the middle of the 4th year, and actually, right? Next week, a week from tomorrow, is my 3-year partner anniversary.
Wowzers!
Yeah, thank you. So that's a big deal. That's definitely a big deal. I think of my partner anniversary not as a thing that I accomplished, but as something that the technical community, particularly the .NET community, identified Twitch, came over and started having a good time and embracing the medium, embracing the platform. And there's so many folks now that stream and teach about .NET, teach about tech. Folks like VMware Tanzu over here, our friends at Twilio, other channels that are out there, Red Hat, MongoDB, IBM, Code It Live. They all came over. I don't know. I know some of them saw what I was doing and said, I want to be a part of that and I want to do this also. Other folks, they got involved because down the stream they saw other folks doing it. I look at that partner anniversary as recognition from Twitch that, hey, there's a community here that we want to collaborate with.
Yeah. Were you the first sort of live coder to get a partner?
There were one or two other folks that were partner. And they didn't, what was different about me becoming partner versus some of them was I started lifting up other folks. I wanted other folks to get involved if they wanted to start live streaming and writing code and encouraging and setting up the raids to more of those folks, where some of those other folks that were partner weren't going after that. Other folks in the time since, they've gotten partner and they very much are lifting and helping other folks get recognition and get more viewers involved in tech on Twitch and learning about. That's great. Job done. The community is growing beyond just me. That's what I wanted.
It's awesome. And I mean, you've been behind several conferences on Twitch. I've helped with those.
Oh my God. Thank you. Yes.
And you've inspired me with the work that I've done with you on various conferences. That VMware Tanzu is hosting. The website goes out tomorrow. We are hosting our first ever .NET conference. It is actually going to be completely virtual, and
Nice.
we've never done .NET before. This is what happens when you hire a .NET person like me. I'm like, .NET all the things.
Yeah, why not?
So the website goes live tomorrow. Jeff is going to be on. I'm very excited, and a whole wonderful selection of people from the community. And it's on the 30th and 31st of March, so not long now.
2 months. Yeah,
I know. So I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited.
Yeah, that's going to be a good time.
But it's, the work that you've done, Jeff, is how, by laying down these ways of doing things that, yes, we can use Twitch as this platform and helping Twitch get that our own category and things like that. And without all of the work of sort of the bigger, heavier hitters, the partners out there supporting all the other streamers, I really feel that Twitch is quite the community, far more so than a lot of other places. And I've been neglecting chat. Let me get in here.
No, it's okay. So, we can ignore them. We don't need to. No,
we don't talk to them. Okay, right, fine. I mean, this one's relevant. This is about coding communities. How would you compare? And I think you'll have some opinions on this, Jeff. The YouTube and Twitch live coding communities, and I might say, take out the live coding there. Sure. In general, there's a lot of talk about the YouTube community being toxic. Would you say that applies to coding as well? So let's think about coding in general on YouTube versus coding on Twitch. Take out the live thing, because I know that you have had people saying, videos are too long, you're giving me too much information, and the comments and things.
Yeah, that's a thing. It is. Sorry, Brave Cooper. What I've run into with folks on YouTube, in my experience, is folks on YouTube, they look at YouTube as more of an encyclopedia. They're as a researching resource for many folks who are between 15 and 25. Their search engine that they prefer is YouTube, not Google, not DuckDuckGo or Bing, YouTube. So when they're searching for something, they search YouTube first. Well, now that brings in a whole interesting thing where they want to get that instant answer that you might find better from a blog or something like that to be able to read through and do something more with. So they expect when they find something to get that instant answer. So is the YouTube community more toxic than the Twitch community? Part of me says yes, because they haven't they haven't been nurtured like we've nurtured the Twitch community. I feel like us as streamers, Layla, myself, some of the other folks, some folks that are here in chat, we've nurtured the community to the point where we've defined, here's what's acceptable. This is what we're looking for when we host a stream. And that's not something that happens on YouTube. The number of folks that live stream technology on YouTube, they don't really care about that. They don't, the moderation, first off, moderation on YouTube is difficult. But trying to push that sense of community on YouTube isn't something that I see happening. And I'm gonna mess this up here. There's a rule, there's a faux law about YouTube where every third or fourth comment on every YouTube video, it somehow devolves into Hitler. It's Godwin's law. That's just the way YouTube works. Every time you open a video, the fourth or fifth comment is about just hateful, terrible, toxic things, and it's true. It really is.
That's crazy.
It happens on live streams as well. The bots that come through, YouTube isn't doing anything to block them. You have to handle it yourself. The etiquette of folks in chat isn't quite there yet. We haven't, as a streaming community, taught them, here's what's expected, here's what good behavior is. And I think bringing in strong moderators that can help with that is going to go a long way. Not having those chat rules posted in folks' face, like when you first start typing in chat on Twitch, doesn't enforce those rules. I rarely have problems where I need a moderator to remove somebody from Twitch chat. On YouTube, 3 or 4 times a stream. And that's just the way it is. It's a different community that hasn't learned yet. So is YouTube more toxic than Twitch? I think YouTube is where Twitch was about 5 years ago. It's not there yet, where they haven't learned what's acceptable.
And I think it's this instant satisfaction that so many people have been trained into having these days.
Totally.
I think they go for curated content on YouTube. Like you say, they're going in and they're searching for the content that they require. And if it's not quite right, they're like, table flip.
Yeah.
Why didn't you know what was in my head? Like,
comment. Hey,
this is the worst video ever.
I've had that comment.
And you just think, whereas, and you're not there to say, hey, now, this isn't appropriate. Whereas on Twitch, we're right here. If we see something, we're like, hang on a minute. You know, and we can call out bad behavior, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, the chat, they're the worst ones, or I should say the best ones that go in there with their pitchforks. And I love them for that. You know, that it's really fantastic when you have that community. It is a sense of community because everyone's like, no, that's not acceptable. And I've never seen that on YouTube. And
absolutely. It's the best enforcers and folks to ensure the community grows in the way that we want it to is the community itself. The folks in chat, you out there, you're watching, you commenting, and you tell folks, hey, come on, that's not acceptable here. And getting on other folks when they're not behaving, keeping them in line, that helps us just as much as it helps the rest of you in chat. Thank you.
Yeah, that's it.
So
I love the mob programming aspect of Twitch. I don't think I would get as far as I do in some problems without the people in chat going, Layla, no, why are you doing that? Just remember the why, because I'm like, I'm going to go like a headless chicken down this path and do it. And then I'm like, Layla, why? And I'm like, oh, I don't know why. Why do I want to do that? And then, but sometimes it is fun. Pitchforks don't give viewers ideas. Yeah, we can do that.
We can do something. It's not that hard. What's
Yeah,
so wrong with that?
pitchforks. We like pitchforks. They're good for pitching
Forks.
straw. Forks.
Yes.
Yes. Thindle says, I feel like there's a couple of very active community members on Twitch, a lot fewer than the total amount of viewers, which is fine, but it's nice seeing people you've gotten to know when you're in channels. Yes, completely. There's always the regulars, and I appreciate the regulars, and I know you do, Jeff, as well.
Absolutely.
Because they're the ones that they're like ambassadors. I see it when people come on the stream. If I'm deep in code, I know that the regular people are there saying, "Oh, hi," you know, they're the ones that are doing the little wave and things. And I don't think the community would be where it is without those regulars who are every bit a part of the community. It's not streamers and then just the viewers. It is everyone, the streamers, the viewers, all of that make the community what it is, because they don't stand for the toxic crap like many others.
No, not at all. And that helps everybody.
Yeah. So, Jeff, you've been to a few in-person conferences, haven't you, recently?
A bit.
And how was that? I haven't yet.
So it's good to see folks getting back together. This wonderful thing is happening as we get back together at in-person events, and it's hug ops. Hug operations are absolutely happening when we get back together. It's true. Let me tell you, for folks in the speaker community, I mean, we see each other in the before times. We see each other 2-3 times a year. I was good to see you 2-3 times a year at various events, and it was great. We knew we'd be able to spend some time hanging out and talking, chatting, sharing experiences, eating, having dinner together.
Yeah.
These types of things that are just so fun that you miss in that social interaction. It just, you can't do it. How do we get back to that? And being able to see our friends for the first time after 3 years, huge, so emotional. I remember I walked into Dev Intersection Orlando in June, and it was the first event post-pandemic that I went to, and we were very much told, you got to mask up everywhere that you go in Florida. And not just mask up, but keep social distance and all this. But a bunch of us had already had our shots, already had the vaccines on board. And you know what? I saw Richard, I saw our friend Sarah, and yeah, rules be damned. Carrie had to, it was time for a hug. My gosh, I miss these people. Needed to get back together. Just like I'm sure next time that we're together in person, it's going to be fantastic to see each other, and yeah, hugs will be shared. Absolutely.
And Thindle, get back under your bridge, you little troll.
TechX in Stockholm in early 2019. So the last event that I had, the last in-person event that I had before pandemic was Jimmy and Jessica Engstrom's Svetug in Stockholm. Okay. And I think we were there together.
We were there together. Yes.
And it was like, oh, okay, you know, it's beginning of February, no big deal.
Yeah.
I had a virtual event I was hosting in February out in Redmond, and I went to that. And this really weird thing happened where I needed to get all the receipts and things from that hotel in Stockholm, and they didn't get sent back to me properly or something. And I had to file all my expenses. And because they didn't come through to me properly, I got into so much trouble because I was late filing expenses and all this. But it's like, what am I going to do? There's nobody at the hotel for me to get the expenses from because everybody's shut down.
Yeah.
We figured it out.
Yeah, that was a good meetup. It was very cold. It kept snowing. I mean, who would have thunk it? Sweden in February.
And we rode the little the lift scooters everywhere. Oh, it was great.
Oh God. And
it was great.
Made use of my Uber account.
Yes, we Ubered everything. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was the thing.
Yeah, and oh my goodness, the food as well. Like, I think you and I were both. I was telling someone just today about how you and I were both like, "How are we going to expense this dinner?
Yeah.
How are we going to do this?"
This is a little bit more than my per diem. How do we do this?
Oh, I'll just have water, no more wine, just water.
Are we really drinking that whiskey? Are you sure?
Oh
That's
my
a
God.
lot.
Oh, we're having ports now. It was quite the
We figured it out.
yeah,
We
it was
made it work.
good fun. It was very good fun.
Oh yeah.
And very good food. But that
Brave
was the
Cobra
last
talking
one.
about a TwitchCon. We haven't had a TwitchCon in 3 years, not since summer 2019 in San Diego. There was supposed to be one in Amsterdam. I was all set to go to. I had plans to get a room for the live coders and have a party and invite in community folks, and no.
I've never been to TwitchCon.
TwitchCon is, because it's not a tech event, it's more of a pop culture event. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy.
I'd kind of like to go.
And I'm going to brag for a second. I hosted a heck of a party at TwitchCon 2019. Oh man. So it was worth it. It was worth it. There was a little bit of drama. We got it. We've got it ironed out. And
there's always drama in every community. There's always, nothing is ever just completely plain sailing. You've got to take the good with the bad. So yeah, that was all done. So in an okay, I'm not even going to bring that. I'm not going to repeat that one, Thindle. You can just read that chat one. I do miss the conferences. I thought I was going to one at the end of this month. Now it's February, but no, it's been moved, and I can't go. So I think my first one is going to be Chicago in April.
Ooh, okay.
I've never been to Chicago. I've only been through O'Hare, the airport, and never been outside the airport.
That's like me with London. I've been to Heathrow, which means I guess I've been to London, but I've never stepped out of the airport. Same thing with LA. I've been to LA dozens of times because I've been to LAX. Haven't stepped out of the airport.
I've been to LA a lot because I used to work for a company that was head office in Orange County. So I used to have to go to LA. I used to do 2-day trips from London to LA. That nearly killed me. I don't miss jet lag. That's what I don't miss, Jeff.
I don't, and we've had this discussion before. I don't get off continent. I don't get out of the States much. Folks figured out that, hey, Fritz can do this live streaming thing and reach a couple thousand people from his extra bedroom here. Why are we paying to send him to Germany?
You need to be worse at streaming like me, and then you're like, oh well, let's just send her off to Chicago again.
Hi friends, it's me, Jeff. How you doing? Oh wait, there.
I'm muted again. Yes. Are you impersonating me, Jeffrey?
No, I would never do. No, not at all. No, London's a 2-hour flight away, says Thindall. Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I do miss this. We've attracted a few folks on the DevRel circuit out of London to come to visit Bletchley Park and the UK Computing Museum. So that's where I live. We've got all of those, and I'm always like, when people come to the London conferences, I'm like, so do you fancy a 45-minute train ride just north a little bit? Hey,
I don't know. I like playing with trains.
You can come on a train. I'll pick you up in my vroom, and you can go to Bletchley Park. You can see the all the La Bomba and the Turing machine, and go and see. They turn them on. They have them working for you. It's fantastic. And you can go to the National Museum of Computers. That's very interesting as well. And then just come and speak at my meetup. Although I don't host the meetup anymore. I've stepped down.
Okay. All right.
I stepped down last month. after nearly 5 years.
Oh my gosh!
And
Congratulations! That's 5 years is a long time to be doing that.
it's so I've stepped down because I started a master's in last month.
Awesome.
And you can't do it all, can you, Jeff?
No,
It's hard.
no. I've had folks say to me, hey, why don't you have a master's degree? And I'm like, why? For what I do, why? What's that going to give me? Is it going to make me appear better on camera? No. So help me better write content and training material? I don't think so. So I mean, for where I am in my career, it's not something that I think for me is going to dramatically improve or change things. All the power to you for going after a master's. Absolutely. Do it.
Well, I don't have a degree. So
okay. Well, there's a good start.
Getting a degree
That's
is
yes.
for me to make me feel more like I fit in this community. It can help with that. And we got Steve Talks Code. Hello, Steve.
Hey,
Speak
Steve.
of mk.net and Steve appears. Steve is my guest in 2 weeks. So awesome. Lovely to see you here, Steve. And so yes, I wanted to be able to be more mobile, and that's one of the reasons why I went for the degree. I think if I already had one, I wouldn't be going for a master's. And Copperbeardy says the degree looks nice framed on the wall.
Well, mine's right there. It's kind of on the production side of the room, not the stage side of my room here. But yeah, there it is. Okay. Nobody has ever asked to see it, but there it is. So
yeah. Is it in computing?
It's a degree in management sciences and information systems. So it's not like Microsoft doesn't recognize it and say, oh, that's a computing degree. No. And in fact, that degree doesn't exist at the school anymore because they've shifted their degree programs. So quite literally, it's a degree in a program in a college at the university that doesn't exist anymore. So like when I go back for alumni things and I try and reach out to folks, I'm like, hey, I'd like to, as Microsoft guy, I'd like to interact and help out with stuff. I don't have a college or faculty sponsors that are interested in me because I was part of their program. Like, all right, well, too bad for you, I guess. I'd love to help you out, but if nobody wants to work with me, I'm moving on. I got other things to do. So
I think Silicon Orchid did a degree very similar to yours, like IT systems. I don't think there was that many computer science hardcore things back way back when, Jeff. Now.
Way back when? What? Not that long ago.
Like 5 years ago. This computer science thing is newfangled.
5 years ago. Okay, sure.
I mean, we've been in this pandemic for 2 now. This is year 3, as you say. And it's that. So
welcome to March 927th.
Oh God, don't say things like that, Jeff. Don't say things.
Like, really?
So I will say there's lots of people asking about degrees. I think if you can get a degree, it can open a lot of doors for you and it's worth doing. But you don't, to get into web development, you don't have to have a degree, which is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's wonderful that the barrier is low. But if you do have the opportunity to do a degree, I think it can teach you lots of different things, lots of skills, and things like that. So pre-Google, I've been told there were the before times.
Yes. The before times. Right. I will remember. I remember Yahoo.com when it went from being on the was it on the Berkeley servers and it became Yahoo.com. Like that was a huge deal back in 1994. We're like, oh my gosh, it's its own thing. And 3-4 months later, hey, have you seen this Google thing? What Google. What the heck is Google? I've got Yahoo. I don't want to look at Google.
Yeah.
Is that like Ask Jeeves or Lycos? No, you got to check out. It's Google. Like,
Oh, you've reminded me there was Ask Jeeves. There were actual adverts on TV about Ask Jeeves. Like,
oh, yeah.
Ask Jeeves, what this thing's called.
Mhm.
And I remember those. And I remember Netscape Navigator. I remember like the
Oh yeah,
the icon.
the pulsing N icon in the corner, right? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, Alta Vista we've got coming now.
Lycos. I was a big fan of Lycos
Yeah.
for a while.
I did I use that a little bit? I think I did. And I'm just seeing when no one's old, you just have experience.
Yes.
I was Netscape
Yes.
Navigator. Yes, you see Coding Bandit. I was Netscape Navigator. That's what I liked. And I fancied myself like the hackers on Hackers the movie. Like but no, I couldn't like smash my keyboard and break into government sites. So I've never heard of Pegasus Mail.
Pegasus. Yes. Oh yes. Absolutely.
I got a Google account when it was in beta. That's my
Well, hang
claim.
on, wait a sec. Google accounts in beta is like 6 years. Like, yes, we're gonna launch Gmail in beta. Okay, great. That was in like 2002. They finally came out of beta in like 2017. Like,
I got it when it was like you had to know someone who had an invite and then they'd give you the invite. And I was like, I asked my friend, I don't know why my camera keeps lagging. I don't know what my machine is doing. And
look, oh, I see. Yeah,
I keep getting it. Could be StreamYard because I don't think they have servers in so many servers this side of the pond. So yeah, I had to ask my friend Anna, and I was like, Anna, give me one of those invites, and she was like, I suppose. And then I was like, I had like 5 Google accounts. Now I can't get it. You've got your maximum. And I'm like, but I can't remember the one I used for selling that car in like 2010. And I'd really like to not have blackbmw@gmail.com anymore. Thanks.
All right. Send emails to blackbmw@gmail.com and see what happens. So and there's a comment here, Clip Talk, that's in perpetual beta. Well, to be fair, there is a minimum list of for X years now. It's only been around for a year.
Yeah, we're gonna troll you now.
Oh, totally. One person working on it, and the application, what would I consider a minimum viable to say it's RTM? Notifications getting done, recommendations happening, mobile application. Then I would say it's RTM. And honestly, I would like to see that happen in 2022. I think it can be done in 2022. I think I need to recruit some folks to help out, some volunteers at first, maybe get into some paid roles at some point. But I need to get some help, some folks in the door to help make that initial bit happen here. It can be done. I really want to get out of beta in 2022, figured out monetization strategy so that I'm not like the Google apps that are in beta eternally.
Yeah.
So,
and then just die a death. Not that this will die a death, but a lot of those Google apps just don't even make it out of
Google
it,
Wave, right? Google Hangouts. Well, it's not Hangouts. Now it's Google Duet. It's the same thing. It does the exact same thing. Why did you have to change the name, kill the one, move everything over here, and we lost all of our contacts and conversations? Because it's better. As a customer, I don't care.
No, it's deeply frustrating, all of these. I mean, I think what you have done with Clip Talk is phenomenal. There's a lot of people here already regularly to help. And I love seeing that you still keep doing it, that it still keeps growing. It's really fantastic to see this idea that came up a while back. And I remember when you were doing those first prototypes. I think I'm
Oh
on the
my gosh.
GitHub repo as well.
Yeah.
And it's just great to see how it's come, and as you say, for a learning experience for you, and share that knowledge.
I like being able to show off how all these tech pieces fit together, and what I'm trying to get to. What I've got a couple blog posts I have to put out for Clip Talk about, hey, here's some new features, here's some things that we built. Check them out. They're really cool. Just to kind of have that press, that stake in the ground that, hey, press release, this thing happened. But what I really want to get to is like a 15-20 minute documentary series of the journey to Clip Talk, because there's a learning experience that happened here that I think other folks that are starting a project, whether it's a web application or they're building an IoT device or a mobile application, there's something there for developers to learn. Clip Talk isn't a success, not in the sense of Wordle, right? My gosh.
I don't even know what it is. I don't want to know.
The 10-second elevator pitch, word game shared on social media, just recently acquired yesterday by the New York Times for several $1 million American. Big congratulations to Josh Wardle and his team, which I think it's just him that built this application in 150K of JavaScript, static website that folks really enjoy. And now he got paid by the New York Times. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So what does it take to build and get to that? And there's a story there that folks have been watching slowly on stream. I want to be able to tell. I want to figure out how best to tell that story and show some archival clips in little 10-15 minute podcast, pre-produced episodes of this thing happened, so that folks can go back and learn from my mistakes, or pass along recommendations. Hey, have you tried this or whatever? So that's something I'm really interested in doing.
And I think that would be very interesting, especially to people who maybe don't have the time to sit and watch a stream. Not everybody does. And I think it would be really wonderful if people can have those takeaways and learn, from what you've done and how to grow an app. And I think it's very inspiring. So what's next for you, Jeff? What are you doing?
So big thing that I'm working on is education for .NET, getting .NET more involved in the education space. When we look around, when we take a look at colleges, universities, they teach Java, they teach Python, but they don't teach C#.
No.
They don't. .NET, the tools are for many universities, most universities, it's not even a consideration. So how do we make that type of interaction with universities, with students, easier? And I'm doing some research on that. I'm doing some investigation. We're going to be doing some prototyping around content, curriculum, features to add to the programming language, to add to the programming tools, to make it easier for students to integrate .NET into, and instructors for that matter, integrate it into their curriculum, integrate it into their learning experience, make it easier to on-ramp on all of these technologies. Because we know C# is the fastest programming language out there, short of C++ and assembly. But for the modern programming languages, you're going to get the best development experience. We believe you're going to get the best development experience with it. So let's make that available to more folks. Let's get more folks interested, excited, and learning about it. And we need to do a better job about getting that into colleges and universities. So that's where I'm going to be focusing. Of course, I'm going to be teaching sessions and presentations at various in-person events, but I want to start talking to instructors, get in and help folks out with making it easier to learn .NET.
That's fantastic. Is there anything that the community or the folks on chat can do to help you with that or connect with you? Or is it just you need to find those niches first?
If you know folks that teach at a university, or if you're a university student, reach out, get in touch. Well, are you over that way? She's over there. Reach out. Happy to talk to you about what tools you're learning, what school you're going to, what curriculum you're following, who I can talk to at that school to learn more about their programs and what we can do to introduce .NET into the mix there. Because like I said, we think, and many folks in our community are really excited and really happy about that. So let's see what we can do to spread that love around and get more folks on the .NET bandwagon.
I think it's so important as well to keep our community growing and not aging as well, just to keep that new blood coming in. So we've got a couple of questions.
Hit me. Let's go. I got it.
Brave Cobra 2 says, what was the biggest lesson you learned from writing Clip Talk?
The cloud is more expensive than you think.
I know what you mean. I had like less than 2 days of compute on Google for Kubernetes, and I was like, how much?
Yeah. It's more expensive than you might think. The best thing that you can do to manage your budget on a cloud service, and whether it's Google, it's AWS, it's Azure, it's whatever, measure and constantly measure how much you're using resources and rewrite your code to use those resources better. You don't want to expand and use more resources on the cloud. They're available to you, but you don't want to start consuming more resources. The best use of your resources are to put a hard limit and run things at 90% utilization. Yes, you can add a budget limit, but when you add a budget limit, you know what happens? Your application turns off. That's even worse. It's one thing to go, oh, crumbs, I'm paying 50% more this month. I paid $100 last month. I'm paying $150 this month. What happened? That's a problem. It's an even bigger problem when on the 14th of the month, your application stops running because you hit your budget. That's worse, because the only way to get the budget back is, well, the only way to get the application running again is to lift the budget and let it keep running, and you're still running over. Measure how much you're using your resources. Look at that forecast ahead, and don't rewrite to add new features first. Rewrite to stay in budget. So the budget limit feature on the cloud services is a fantastic feature to ensure that you don't go over. But if you go over and they stop your application so that you stay within budget, it doesn't matter. You still need your application.
Yeah. It doesn't help. So optimization is key.
And I've definitely learned that the hard way. So
yes, not as much as what's his name? Have I been
Troy Hunt?
Troy Hunt. That's it. I can never remember his name. It's like a block for me.
I actually I did. over the summer, I did.
What, have a Troy Hunt issue?
That level. Yep.
Oh, wowzers. Oh,
let me tell you, can I tell you just how much it hurts when you're planning a family vacation and your budget suddenly disappears because your hobby website that you've been building live on stream suddenly costs more than your family vacation budget?
God.
Oops.
I bet you weren't very popular, Jeff.
No. So I spent a week or two completely refactoring and rewriting and ripping out those things that were taking me over budget. So that's the number one thing I learned is measure how much cloud you're using, because that is how you're going to stay ahead, not the budget limit.
And I think it must make you a better coder to think about those ways and think about, not just we're very into scaling vertically and just throwing more compute at it, and we're lazy. And so having that kind of thing can make you a much more efficient programmer.
Oh,
And
wait,
so
with how
that's
easy it is to just, hey, you know what? I'm running 5 compute instances. I need 10 for a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to grab the slider and move it over. No big deal. But what's happening behind the scenes is you're paying twice as much now because you added 5 more instances. Good example. Over the winter holiday, I was testing and rolling out new features, and it was using a bit more database resource. So I doubled the size of my compute on my database. No big deal. But I saw the forecast of $1,000 database bill coming in. It was like, finish that feature and turn that off.
Yeah.
And we got back under budget, and we're in fantastic shape now, and well under budget for my monthly expenses. But be careful with that.
Be careful. Be careful. You've heard it here. Be careful.
Yeah.
Thindle has a question. How do you beat the lack of discoverability on Twitch? It is a problem.
Don't publish content on Twitch. Publish content on blogs, on Medium, on dev.to that mentions your Twitch content, embeds videos, embeds clips from Twitch, and then you'll get discovered. My 2 most watched videos on Twitch are clips that I embedded on a blog post about writing .NET on a Google Chromebook and how that install process happened. So I went through and talked about and showed that install process live on Twitch. Some folks clipped that. I grabbed those clips and embedded them on the blog post, and they got thousands of views because people were clicking through to learn about, well, how do I run .NET on a Chromebook? And they clicked to watch the video. And it was a minute video, so no big deal. I'll watch the video. And it took off. If you want to get discovered on Twitch, you cannot rely on Twitch helping you. Twitch is an endpoint. It's not a gateway to more content. You need to provide some way in to get to Twitch. Now, Twitch is a fantastic community. It's a fantastic place to present and share content. It absolutely is. But it's an endpoint. Yeah. YouTube has better discoverability because of how they present the other videos down the side. You don't really get that as much on Twitch, where you can see, well, here's the other folks broadcasting. Quite frankly, while I'm broadcasting live, I don't want you to see, here's the other folks that are broadcasting live that you might want to go see if you're bored watching Fritz and Layla chat here on a purple background.
Normally, when you're streaming, it's me who is the other person.
I don't want folks to know that you're streaming.
I'm like, damn it, that Fritz is streaming always when I'm streaming, and he hugs all the viewers. It's just...
So how do we fix that? How do we improve that? And you got to get more folks from outside Twitch to come in to go and discover and view, and you got to publish outside Twitch. That's why one of the biggest features that ClipTalk has is I've got search engine optimized pages generated for every clip that comes into ClipTalk. Now, I've got to do a little work on the search engine optimization so they link together and reference each other. So there's a nice spider web of content that the Google crawlers and Bing crawlers can go and find. But we're getting to a point where you're going to be able to search for clips on ClipTalk from those sites. It's there. We need to tune the SEO on it. That's how I'm going to help folks with discoverability.
Awesome. So we are getting we're getting to the end of our show. I was just going to say, it's like you get Google searches returning ClipTalk log. You just answered before I finished typing. So there you go. That's it.
It's coming. I have a way that it's publishing stuff there right now. If you were to use like the Facebook developer console or the Twitter developer console, where you can test what does the card look like when I embed content from this site, and you drop a ClipTalk URL in there, you'll get content from my SEO enabled version of the site. Really cool stuff.
Fantastic. Yeah. So is there anything that you would like to share? I actually shared one of your new videos. I curated a newsletter. For JetBrains that came out today, and I tagged you in there quite a few times. So I've done that for you. But what else would you like to like to point people to? Have you got any courses that you've got coming up?
So I shared last week, and I'm guessing this is what you pointed to. I shared a series of 6 videos I published over to YouTube. They kind of grew out of a question we had on Twitch about how do I get started with minimal APIs, ASP.NET Core, minimal APIs. I've got about 6 more videos in my mind that I want to publish to go along with that. That's going to be coming soon. Check that out over on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/C#Fritz. Same thing with the Twitch channel. Check that out, of course. Clip Talk is growing every day. New features, new capabilities. Check it out, kliptok.com.
I've got all those links coming for you now.
Fantastic. If you log in with your Twitch account over on Clip Talk, it's going to sync your followers and show you those folks that are logged on that have content on Clip Talk. It'll show you their new clips, and if there's channels that are missing there, click the add channel to Clip Talk button when you get to their channel, and it will start indexing it. It'll take about 5 minutes for the channel to start appearing. I'm going to improve that. I'm going to tune that in the next few weeks here, but you'll start to see their clips appearing so you can catch up on what happened. One of my favorite things to do, Layla, is when I get ready to start stream, I want to catch up on what else happened. I'll load up Clip Talk, and there's a followers tab at the top. I'll click there and I'll see what you've been doing in the day or so ahead, or maybe you're currently live and there's some new clips that appeared, and I can see what other folks think is really cool that happened on those channels. So I encourage folks to check that out. I'm looking forward to getting this app to a point where folks outside the technical community are using it. Right now, it's known for the technology that it's built with. I want to hear folks say, "Hey, do you have clips that you can send me?" And they're referring to clips with a K, that came from Clip Talk. I'm looking forward to that. So we'll see. I'm excited.
It's fantastic. And I wish you every success with that. And I know the community does as well. So would you, I always like my guest to choose the person that we're going to raid. So
can I suggest somebody who might be follically challenged?
I was going to think that was a good person to go to because it's their comeback stream today.
Yeah.
And I think it would be lovely to go and see
support them.
Michael Jolly and welcome him back to our community and give him a huge welcome back after his stint away. So it isn't Copperbeardy on Copperbeardy's in the morning. It's another follically challenged. I'm stuttering again.
Yes.
Follically. So fantastic, folks. Thank you so much, Jeff, for joining us. Next week we have Katie Ashby coming on, and the week after we have Steve Coates, and then the week after I think we've got Maria Nagaga. That is to be confirmed. So we've got a fantastic February of wonderful folks, and you kicked it off. And of course, tomorrow we've got the launch of .NET Beyond. So that's very exciting, which you will be on, of course. Very cool. Thank you so much, Jeff. Right, let me queue up the raid.
Yeah. All right.
There we go. Alrighty. So, folks, make sure you give Bald-Bearded Builder a huge amount of shtick for not being around for all this time, and give him a lot of love and a lot of God, he's changed.
There were all kinds of videos where he's changed a bit.
Oh, he was like, he had this really squeaky, squirrely voice, and I don't know what was going on with that.
Don't know.
So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for joining us. A huge thank you to Jeff, and wonderful. Let me just, I'm having problems with Windows here, as always. And yeah, I'm going to make sure that raid is ready to go. Let me come over here, and then we'll see. Oh, have I done it? Did it go? I don't know. Are we raiding? I have no idea. I'm going to,
is there a thing? Nope, raid has been canceled, it says.
Oh my goodness. Okay, right. Start raid. We're going now. We're going now, folks.
There it goes. Alrighty.
All right. All right. Ta-ta for now, folks.
See you, friend.